That's right. You heard it. We were made to love. Self-love is an amazing thing. And it's your girl. It's your host with the most. Your favorite chick to chit chat with. Your girl, Ms. Mo. Let's go. Let's get ready to dive into another episode of In My Feelings. Let's go. Kingdom greetings, everyone. Welcome to another episode of In My Feelings. It's your girl, your host with the most, your favorite chick to chit chat with, Ms. Mo. And we're going to dive right on in. And our topic for today, or for this week, is access balance. I'm going to keep this notebook in front of me because it has a couple of questions and things that I want to touch on, and I'm just going to keep it here so it's readily available for me. So today, like I said, we're going to be talking about access balance, access rights. And I want to start off by asking you, who has access to you on a daily basis? And while you're thinking about that, or while you're reflecting on the many number of people who have daily access to you, as a matter of fact, let's make this an activity. Grab a sheet of paper and pen. Go ahead, hit pause. I'll give you a couple of seconds. All right, so you should have hit pause like I told you to. But just in case you didn't, we're going to go ahead anyway, though. So after you write down how many people have access to you daily, next to them, I want you to write whether or not how many of them pour into you, how many of them receive from you, how many do both, and how many do neither. And if they're not giving, if they're not pouring or receiving, what is it that's actually taking place? Are they there as spectators? And if so, what are you displaying? What are you showing? Because even though you don't know that they're receiving from you, some of them may be watching you, and you may be what's leading their life, whether you know it or not. Because every move you make is a move that they mimic in their life. They get their inspiration from you. And I'm not talking about this, oh, they copying me. Ooh. Let's deal with that since I brought it up, because I've heard a lot of that. And I may have been in a moment where I said that about something or someone. But you know what I had to realize? Anything that I'm doing that came from him, it's his will. It's his word. It's his plan. It's his agenda. It's his event. It's his whatever it is. It came from him. I'm not going to reach everybody in the world. I'm going to reach those I'm going to reach, and then somebody else is going to reach the others. So it's not my event. It's not my idea. It's not my word. It's God's. It's God's plan, his agenda. All of it belongs to him. So what if I'm over here doing it and they're right there doing it and somebody else is over there doing it? Because guess what? I heard it when I heard it, but 9 times out of 10, it ain't the first time it's been done. It's not the first time it's been heard. I am not the first person in history to do it. It may have been done a different way, at a different time, for different people, with a different color, a different theme, a different whatever. You know what I'm saying? It may have been done differently well before, and I may never even know about what had happened before me. But you got this big, bright idea to do it now because God had a requirement for it in the earth. But he had it required for more than just the people you have access to and that have access to you. Think about it. Say you have 50 followers and they read, watch whatever it is that you do and release. What about the other billions of people in the world that still need that? One of those 50 is going to hear it and they're going to be like, oh my God, I know somebody that needs to hear that. And so they're going to run and tell that person. They may not take what you said and shared and share that with them, but they're going to take it according to their measure, according to their understanding, according to their makeup, their perspective, their perception, and they're going to regurgitate it according to them and not according to you. Don't mean they're copying you. They heard a word from God and they had an assignment to then go and tell it. You hear all of this stuff, do what you're going to do in private, and then when it's where it needs to be, then you want to share it. Well, maybe if you weren't so secretive in some of it, you may have heard a better way to do it, or a piece that you were missing, because we're many members, one body, fitly joined together by what we each supply, not just by what I got. I don't hold the whole body together. All of us are fitly joined together by what we supply. We're not glued together because I'm the glue. We fit. So if someone's not in place, then we don't fit. So we're fitly joined together, not glued together, not stuck together, not tied together, fit together by what we each, not what I, not with you, not with me, but by what we each supply. And some of our supply do the same thing. My right hand do what my left hand do. Now, one of them has a little bit more strength than the other, but for the most part, they can do the same thing. Let me keep going. The next thing, maybe there are people in your life that are doing both. That's good. A good exchange, amazing. Maybe there's some in your life that only receive. That can be draining. And sometimes when you look at it, you feel like you're being used. But do you ever remember believers saying, use me, O Lord, for your glory? How you think he gonna use you, sis? How you think he gonna put you to use, brother? And it's for his glory, right? Yeah, we be expecting people to take care of, and all of this stuff. God said he'll supply all of my needs according to his riches and glory in Christ Jesus. Now, that doesn't mean that people can't sow, won't sow, because they should. But if they don't, you was obeying him. So if I'm handling his business, guess what? He's going to have to handle mine. If you want me to do what you want me to do, God, I got some stuff that needs to be taken care of too. And if I'm over here all about your business and my business falling apart, then that's going to make me an ineffective witness, because they're going to be like, how you trying to tell me how to get my life together when your whole life look like it's out of whack? So he going to take care of me. Otherwise, he going to look like a bad baby daddy. He not that. He is not a bad baby daddy. He's a good, good father. You heard the song, right? You're good. Okay, I'm not going to sing. That's not my call. Stand your lame-o. All right, keep on moving here. So maybe they just poor. See, when you find out you're in a situation where all they do is receive from you and you feel used, what about those situations where there are people in your life that all they do is pour? They're not receiving from you other than the opportunity for a space, a place, a vessel to pour into. So should they feel used? They should, but used by God, just like you should. So in every situation, you have to know what it is that you're doing. I remember hearing one of my spiritual leaders tell me, you have to know when you're the teacher and the student in any situation. And you have to be open to those positions interchanging, even in the same moment, in the same setting, in the same instance. I can start off by teaching, but wisdom says be open, because the same person you're teaching may have tons to teach you too. And I think that is absolutely amazing and beautiful, but we have to be humble and open to receive. Just because I taught you something don't mean you were dumb. It just means you didn't know that portion. But that don't mean you don't know nothing else. And just because I knew that doesn't mean that I know everything else. I don't want to make this long, so I'm going to give you that and I'm going to keep on going. So it's how many people have access to you daily, how many of them pour, how many of them receive, how many do both, and how many do neither. And once you assess that, the next thing you want to do, or once you list that out, the next thing you want to do is you may have to reestablish access rights and levels. Because even though I said it may be the assignment for you to receive. It may be the assignment for you to do both. And sometimes, because this is what we're used to and what's consistently been going on, it becomes familiar. And because it's familiar, it becomes comfortable. And because you're comfortable in it, it's hard for you to hear the expiration. Every connection, every encounter is not supposed to last a lifetime. It's not supposed to be consistently going on. Maybe the expiration date comes around, but because it's so familiar and because you're so comfortable in it, you may miss the fact that this is a wrap. And we all know what happens when you stay somewhere too long. You begin to ruin a good thing because the grace that it had on it to produce has now moved on, because you should have as well. And it doesn't mean, moving on doesn't mean that, or the expiration doesn't mean that now one of you are bad. It just means you have somewhere else to be. You have other connections to make. It means you've given all you were supposed to give in this connection. Now you got to make room to move on to the next one, because the next person, because although you were here receiving, now you have to go pour. Or now you were here receiving, or now you were here pouring, you have to now go receive. Because you can't just pour out, and there's never any reception. And it isn't always just directly you and God. If you have positioned yourself, well, can't nobody tell you nothing. Don't nobody have nothing to teach you. Don't nobody have nothing to encourage you with. No one has any inspiration for you. No one has any enlightenment for you. And oh my God, nobody definitely has correction for you. Sis, bro, you in danger, Molly. Danger. Take yourself back to God and ask him where you're off at. So again, you may have to reestablish access rights and levels. They may keep the badge because you may have to reconnect later. And this is why you got to be able to hear when you're supposed to, keep moving, and don't do it grudgingly. It does not have to be a nasty disconnect. All right, see you later. And keep moving. And because you left decent and in order, 5 years from now, you're going to run into that same person. And because they still got the badge, all you have to do is go into your mainframe and upgrade their access. Same badge, just change the access. Moving right along. And then there are some where sometimes you have to deny access, because sometimes we connect in ways that we weren't supposed to. We've made covenant connections that we were not supposed to. All we were supposed to do is say, "Hey, how are you?" and keep going. You then ended up married with 12 children. Or you done been with this person and you guys have been, soul dancing. And now you got these soul ties, and now you got to break these soul ties because you were never supposed to be anything more to each other than someone you saw and was like, he's fine. She's cute. Or, you know what I mean? Hello. God bless you. And keep going. But you done entangled yourself in some stuff that you were never supposed to be in. And so now that thing has become toxic because you guys were never equipped to deal with what you put yourself in. God said covenant, not entanglements. Anywho, moving right along. So sometimes you have to deny access. And the question I heard when I was writing a portion about denying access was, can you trust yourself to actually set these rights? Can you trust yourself to actually deny access? Now, I talked about in a previous message about how, as a believer, as a Christian, we feel like it's unchristian-like to, say no in certain situations, or to cut off, or whatever the case may be. But there's a thing about preserving your peace. The only reason why you have to cut off is because it was never supposed to be connected the way that it was connected. And sometimes in order for that thing to connect properly or reconnect later, you have to sever because it's connected wrong. And though cutting off feels like there's a loss and that you're losing part, because there is a loss and you are losing something. However, it only hurts because it wasn't supposed to be. And you're removing, you're breaking. You've tied some things in with that connection. And so the pulling away, the separating, it's painful. It's painful. And it's understandable, but it is necessary. It is truly, truly necessary. So I want you to take some time and review your list. Pay attention to the different people you encounter on a daily basis, a monthly basis, a quarterly basis, a weekly basis, an annual basis. Pay attention to the patterns in your life. Look at the areas where you've gotten comfortable. And just because you're comfortable doesn't mean it shouldn't be. But are you accurate enough in your discernment to discern why they're there, if they should be there, who sent them. Can you do that? And if you find that you can't, it's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. Honesty is good. It's like being at the mall where they had that big map and it says you are here. It lets you know where you are and where everything else is. And you can now look at where you are and determine how to get where it is you're trying to go. How do we do that? Because there is no big map other than the Bible. Other than going to God himself. Hey, dude, you made me. Somewhere along down the line, I adjusted some of my default settings and I made some tweaks and some changes and I've ended up here. Or there were a couple of upgrades that I dismissed because I was busy working on something else. And I haven't seen those upgrades pop up again. But every time one pops up, I seem to somehow be too busy to do the upgrades. Can you help me? Can you send the upgrades again? Or can you put through a patch that's going to bring me up to speed? It's going to remove the old settings, remove the default settings. It's going to adjust me to where I'm supposed to be and give me what it is that I need to do from this point forward. And you may even send me some instructions on, hey, here are the changes that we made with this patch, so that I'm aware of what I now have access to. And keep in mind, even while you're making these decisions about what you have access to, who has access to you, other people are making those same things as well. So your access to some people may be changing. May not even be that they're acting funny. It's just that time. Think you're not strange. God is doing a lot of things in this time. This pandemic has done what it has done, is doing what it is doing, but God is still God. And he is still here for you. So I want you to take some time to assess those things and keep doing you. Enjoying life. Taking care of yourself and living one day at a time, one decision at a time, one moment at a time, one step at a time. And sometimes those steps are baby steps. Sometimes those steps are giant steps. Sometimes those steps are huge leaps of faith with no net, without seeing the bottom. And if you can't see the bottom, you really don't know how high up you are. And to have to jump with a huge potential of missing the other side, missing the other landing, and not knowing how far the drop is, can be really scary. But if God told you to do it, he'll take you through it. A to the man. I love you guys. This has been another episode of In My Feelings with your girl, your favorite host with the most, your favorite chick. Wait, let's try that again. Oh my God, she's sleepy. I need some, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say that I need a slice of this cheesecake that's in my refrigerator that I do not need. I just want a piece. It's going to be so good. But anyway, this has been another episode of In My Feelings with your girl, your host with the most, your favorite chick to chit chat with, Miss Mo. Until next time, see you real soon. God bless you. I love you guys. Don't forget to talk back, like, subscribe, share, and tell a friend. Good night or good afternoon or have a good day. Keep it kingdom.